Tonight, on Fact or Faked, Paranormal Files.
Oh, what is that?
Guys, here comes a chopper. It wasn't friendly.
Area 51 is a mecca for UFO sightings.
Don't look now, but you're being watched.
Where?
Up there.
Whoa! Here it comes! Let's go!
Bill, are you saying that you see a face? We are officially being watched. I can't see it, but I can feel it. There's something up here.
Oh my God.
There's a flying saucer.
Getting a series of lights right there.
So you seeing what I am seeing?
What the heck is happening?
Hey, man.
All right, well, let's get started right away. Who wants to go first?
I have a clip. It shows a strange formation in the skies over Utah. Now, some people believe that UFOs enter our universe by using interdimensional alien technology that creates a halo effect around our sun. And they say that this video shows clear evidence of that otherworldly technology at work. Take a look.
Whoa, look at that. You can see the curve shape in the sky. Wow. Don't know what to make of that.
Now, the videographer, his name is Tony Yates. He's standing in this small town called Nibley. He sees this bizarre formation. He runs to get his camera. He starts recording. Immediately, all these theories start to circulate that this could be evidence of an alien portal.
It's interesting they jump right to that. You know, that it might not be something easily explainable.
Right. Guys, I think that there's a natural explanation for this video, and it's just an atmospheric condition known as a sundog. Now, take a look at this. Sundogs are actually really cool, you guys. They're created during very cold weather. They're basically ice crystals drifting in the air at low levels. They act as prisms. The light passes through the ice crystals, bends, and creates distinct points of illumination, often connected by a halo. And even this almost rainbow shape in the center. Completely natural.
Well, given the fact that it's in the middle of winter, I mean, we know for a fact that it's cold outside. Just look at all the snow on the houses. So I think a sundog would be a very likely and natural explanation for the anomaly that we're seeing here.
Although the video is really cool looking, I think it's most likely that there is a natural explanation for it. Should we move on?
All right.
Okay, who's on deck?
I've got one. This case comes from my home state of Louisiana. In 2001, two ladies were visiting the allegedly haunted Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville when they captured this translucent, shape-shifting mist. The witnesses claimed that they felt an evil presence and that this spirit then began chasing them. Take a look. Whoa. Change of shape.
Wow. Oh, that's it right there in the middle.
Look at that.
It's crazy how it just disappears.
And then it reappears. Now get this, Myrtles is considered one of the most haunted places in America. It's got a tragic 300-year history that includes the Civil War, murders, hangings. It's got it all. Now, the spirit that most people report is that of Chloe, who supposedly was a slave that was also a mistress to the plantation owner. Now, Chloe was caught eavesdropping in on the family, and for punishment, they cut off her ear.
Wow.
For revenge, she ended up putting poison in a cake that she baked for the family, which killed the wife and the two children. The story goes that then she was dragged from the house and that she was hanged. And to this day, people report that they still see the spirit of Chloe and the two children walking the plantation grounds. Guests who stay there rarely leave without having some sort of paranormal experience.
Okay.
Plus, we do have to consider the eyewitnesses. They both claim that they saw this shape-shifting mist and that they both felt this menacing presence.
I like that. Let's see what other compelling video we have.
All right, guys, this next clip is really fascinating. Darren Jackson was driving his kids to school when he captured footage of what many people believe to be the infamous South American goat sucker known as the chupacabra. Take a look.
Oh my gosh. Certainly hairless.
I think there's no doubting this video isn't fake. The question is, what are we looking at?
Looks almost identical to the one that we investigated in Texas.
Was there any physical evidence like fur or body fluids or anything that we could subject to DNA analysis?
All we have is just the video and Darren's eyewitness testimony. That's true, Bill. How do we know that this just isn't some kind of misidentified canine like a mangy dog or even a coyote?
The footage is fascinating, but maybe we should get some more backstory.
Yep.
Guys, I have a UFO case that I believe warrants a complete investigation. It was allegedly filmed at the world's most secret military installation, Area 51. Now, this footage surfaced in 1995 and reportedly shows an actual extraterrestrial craft They're just hovering over this top secret airbase. Check this out.
Whoa, what is that?
Watch the shape of it as it's rotating.
That's an erratic flight pattern.
Is it changing shape? It almost looks like the darker part of it is getting larger.
It's amazing.
Now, reportedly, this was shot in 1994 and secreted off the base by a civilian contractor. Now, he gave it to a former Air Force employee who then leaked it to the press in the interest of spreading the truth about UFOs. It spread like wildfire.
I can't explain what it is we're looking at, but it is intriguing.
Yeah. Well, I think we have to consider that Area 51 is a mecca for UFO sightings. I mean, some people believe that there's actually recovered crashed alien craft that are stored there. So if this really was smuggled off the base, we could either be looking at some type of reverse engineered alien technology that we're using now in military craft, or it might actually be an extraterrestrial craft.
I love it.
Hey, UFOs over the skies of Area 51? That's hard to beat.
So let's review everything that we've seen today, though.
How do you argue with Area 51?
I'm really partial to the Myrtle's Plantation video.
And I really love chupacabra cases, but being a photographer, the Cajun ghost poses some really interesting challenges. I'm definitely in for that.
Myrtle's Plantation has reports of ghostly activity happening over the past 300 years. I think that it warrants an investigation, so I'm for Myrtle's.
I'm in for Area 51.
Well, guys, you know, I've wanted to go to Area 51 ever since I was 14 years old. And if you want to come with me, Austin and Jael, and Louisiana, Bill, you can take Devin and Lanisha. Okay, well, let's go.
All right.
All right.
St. Francisville, Louisiana, and there's a number of well-manicured plantations, but only one is known as America's most haunted, and that's the Myrtle's Plantation. It was built in 1798 by General David Bradford, reportedly over an ancient Indian burial ground. Some believe it's forever cursed property.
In 2001, Jody Cetran was staying at the Myrtles for a vacation with a friend of hers. They filmed what they believed to be the manifestation of a ghost of pure evil.
Did they record the encounter, but they insist that the ghostly presence was chasing them. It's time for us to go in there and find out if the claims are true or if the legends are merely fake.
We're now at Myrtle's Plantation to meet Hester Eby, an historian, to get a first-hand account of all the paranormal activity that surrounds this property. Hester, hello, it's Bill.
Hey, Bill, how are you? Welcome to the
Good.
Myrtles. Come right in. Let's look around a bit.
Wow.
Can you tell us where some paranormal hotspots are around the property?
We have the rooms upstairs. One in particular is what we call the doll's room. That is a very good space because the children sometimes will give you a little hug in that area. We also have the bridgeway. A lot of activity goes on here, whether it's a footstep, a cry.
Now, we've heard about these spirits that may be trapped in one or two of the mirrors. Can you tell us about that and how that occurred?
Come over, let me show you.
Okay.
It was believed that whenever anyone died on the plantation grounds, all the mirrors were to be covered with a black cloth and remain covered until well after the burial. They believed that if the mirrors weren't covered, a spirit from a deceased soul would be trapped in the mirror by being a reflection. Where these handprints are, faces of two small children very often appear in the mirror. That area very often appears red in photographs.
Now, based on our research, we found that there were 10 murders rumored to have taken place on this property. Is that true?
It is true that 10 murders took place here. Those people are still seen and heard here. Mr. William Winter owned the home. He was a lawyer from St. Louis, and he was in the gentleman's parlor teaching his son. Someone rode up, a gentleman, to see the lawyer. Of course, he went out to see who needed him, and whoever was waiting shot him in the chest. He made it to the 17th step on this staircase, and he died there in his wife Sarah's arms. We're bed and breakfast, and overnight guests that stay on this side of the home still hear the sound of his wife's cry. They hear the footsteps, and they hear this front door slam.
Hester, thank you so much for your time.
So welcome. Hope you see something.
Thanks, Hester.
We have so much to go off of. It's amazing.
You guys ready to get to work? Yep.
Ready. All right.
Do this.
So now we're going to meet eyewitness Jody Cetran, who captured the video in question, to hear her personal account of what she thinks she saw that night.
Jody?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Bill. This is Lanisha, and this is Devin.
Nice to meet you.
Could you lead us to that location?
I'd love to.
This whole plantation is kind of creepy.
There's a lot of ghosts.
This looks familiar.
So this is pretty much where you were
Yes.
filming that night.
Yes.
So some people would say that you captured fog on film. What would you say you captured?
I feel like I caught energy forming into an apparition. It was like you could see the swirling. And then when I opened up the camera lens, that's when I could see it on my video. It's really terrifying.
Now, how would you describe it? Did it feel like something that you could touch, or did it seem flat?
It pulsated, and it kept moving and growing and shifting. I was in fear. I was terrified. Like, it wasn't friendly. It was so scary.
Jody, would you mind if we borrowed your camera for our tests?
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, she's giving us a lot to think about, you guys.
Let's get the rest of our gear and let's get set up.
All right, let's go.
Now, we're at the exact same vantage point that Jody said she shot the original video. Now, because the video was shot over 10 years ago, the foliage in the area has changed quite a bit.
You know what, guys? Fog is so common in this area with all this high humidity, it can like seemingly just come out of nowhere.
The humidity is about 72% and climbing.
You know what? That gives me a really good idea. You know how when you're in the car on a hot summer's day and it's air conditioned and you step out of the car and your sunglasses start to fog up?
Yes.
I think that's what we might be seeing in our original video.
If she was in a cool area and came out here, brought her lens out, maybe that's the closest we're going to get to mimicking the conditions she was in.
Why don't we go back to the truck, cool the camera down, and once it's all nice and chill, we'll come back out and run the experiment.
Okay?
That sounds great.
Let's get
All right.
Let's freeze this thing.
Well, the only thing is we're going to have to move really fast once we get out of this truck and get to our vantage point.
All right, you guys, you think it's cold enough? You ready to go? Do it.
Are we going to move fast?
Go. Go, let's go.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Jody may have had her camera in an air-conditioned car right before she shot the video in question. Maybe the anomaly we're seeing in the video is actually just condensation due to a quick change in temperature.
Let's freeze this thing.
All right, you guys, you think it's cold enough? You ready to go? Do it.
Are we going to move fast?
Let's do it.
Go. Go, let's go.
Oh my gosh, I mean, look what it's doing. It's condensing right away, but you know what? It's sort of uniform across the lens.
You know, it's really hard to see anything at all.
Look here. The trees in Jody's video are totally without any sort of mist around them. In our video, everything is sort of misted over. This would have been, you know, a believable natural explanation. But based on what we're seeing here, I don't think that we've hit bullseye.
I say we should move on to our next experiment.
Yep, good move. There may actually be a natural explanation to the apparition. However, we think it's something that's exterior of the lens itself, and that's what we're going to test next.
I'm beginning to think that a perfect storm of humidity and a windy vortex may be responsible for what we see in Jody's video. You know what, guys? In areas of high humidity, like where we are now, particulates can get suspended in the air for long enough to create what looks like a cloud.
Well, you guys, I know if we put all of these fans in the perfect circle, we can create a kind of tornado, and then we can put fog on top of this fan, and it will shoot up in a swirling circle, and hopefully create that changing shape that we were seeing in Jody's video.
For our next test, we're going to be using our fogger in combination with our wind vortex that we created with the fans here. I think we have a pretty good chance of having a much closer match to Jody's video this time.
Bill, ready?
I'm ready.
Give us some fog in 3, 2, 1. Fog vortex.
Here it comes.
How's it look?
It looks good. Yeah, Bill, why don't you come back over? Let's do it side by side.
Okay, I'm on the way. Okay, there it is. The vortex definitely is helping. It's not like it was before, which is naturally spread out throughout the ground here. But the problem is, it's not staying contained.
Right. Another thing that I'm noticing here, you guys, is that the leaves aren't moving in Jody's video. And if there was a vortex, the leaves would be moving.
We're still not satisfied with results. But this experiment did give us an idea. Maybe the apparition that we're seeing in Jody's original video is light being reflected off fog.
You know, anything could be illuminating that fog. It could be car headlights, it could be a flashlight, it could be anything.
Let's use the industrial fogger, create a dense fog, and use different light sources to see if they can recreate what we see in Jody's original video.
Well, I'll operate the fogger and make sure we have a nice, thick, dense stream of fog like you see on a really heavy, foggy day out here.
And I'll be back at our vantage point with this camera.
And I'm going to be responsible for the lighting.
Sounds good. up in the monitor at all.
Hold on, there it is.
Oh.
You know what? Now that the fog is dissipating a bit, I can see it.
Nice. You know what the problem is?
If I move my light, you can see the beam. I think it's safe to say after seeing the results, we can eliminate flashlights without doing a side-by-side comparison.
Instead of using a flashlight, why not use only the camera's built-in IR light?
All right, then let's try it that
All
way.
right, let's go ahead and repeat it right now. Hey, Devin, give us another blast of that fog. Fogging. Oh, wow, look at it.
That looks a lot better.
It's definitely looking a lot better. Hey, Devin, why don't you come on back?
Sounds good. Here is the original footage, you guys.
All right.
Play back.
You know, this one right away is looking good. Look at that. It looks like it's moving almost through the woods.
Like once the fog starts to dissipate, it looks pretty good.
No two fog clouds are ever going to be alike, so maybe this is proof of concept. I think it is possible that it was natural. Fog, humidity, dew in the air, but it's not perfect on our test because we can't replicate Mother Nature.
But that's not to say that what we're looking at here is a fog. I mean, we can't forget that Myrtle's Plantation has a history of being one of the most haunted locations in America. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe it's revealing itself, and we're seeing the proof in this video.
The Myrtle's Plantation is considered one of the most haunted places in America. And given its 300-year history of paranormal activity, I think it's time that we conduct our own night investigation.
Cameras are now in place.
We have 4 monitors here for each one of our cameras. We've got one full spectrum cam in the main corridor monitoring the 17th step. We've also got one over at the bridge, one in the doll room, and one at the vantage point where the original video was shot.
On that 17th step where William Winter passed away, I'm going to be setting up an accelerometer. If there's any activity at all there and any motion associated with it, this thing should pick it up right here.
And I'll have my handheld thermal imager to measure any unusual ambient temperature spikes or dips, which could be a sign of paranormal activity.
Let's go green.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Devin for Lanisha.
Are you picking up anything on the thermal cam?
And I'm not seeing any abnormalities, but I'm going to keep looking around.
Oh, I see that child's face in the mirror that they've been talking about.
What?
Bill, are you saying that you see a face?
I kid you not, I'm looking right at it.
Oh, I see that child's face in the mirror that they've been talking about.
Bill, are you saying that you see a face?
When you shine a light into the mirror, it reveals a face on the opposite wall. It's really bizarre.
It looks like the face of a young child.
Well, it's nothing like I've seen before. I kid you not, I'm looking right at it.
Lanisha, Bill is
Seeing a child's face right now.
in the main corridor. Could you get there as quickly as you can?
Copy that, on my way.
Bill, Lanisha is heading right your way.
Look to that wall where I'm pointing.
Oh my gosh, I see that. You know, Bill, let me get a little closer and get a good shot of this.
All right, Lanisha, I'm going to go to the doll room, and I'm going to record an EVP session.
All right, perfect. I'm going to take my thermal imager and sweep the entire grounds.
Bill for Devin. I'm going to go ahead to the 17th step and place the accelerometer.
Copy that, Bill. Careful on those stairs.
14, 15, 16, 17.
I'm going to be heading up the stairs to go to the doll room.
I'll let you know when I get there. I'm going to be recording the EVP session.
Copy that. I see you.
I'm now in the doll room.
The unique thing about the doll room is that it's reported to be the paranormal hotspot of the entire plantation. It's a vortex of paranormal activity, and Bill's in there right now doing an EVP session.
Who are the people that walk across these floors?
Whoa. Devin for Lanisha.
Go for Lanisha.
I'm seeing some activity on the monitor over by the bridge. It looks very similar to the video we got from Jody.
Copy that, I'm on my way.
If you're the one that revealed yourself in Jody's video, come through right now.
Hey, I'm gonna sweep and see if I see anything abnormal.
What the heck was that?
Whoa. Bill, did you hear that?
There's something going on here. Have you seen anything on
Any camera? Can you point me in any direction?
I am seeing the accelerometer going off on the staircase.
I can hear it.
I'm heading down there now.
What was that?
Lanisha for Devin.
I've been hearing things out here, but I haven't picked up anything.
Lanisha, my whole monitor just went out.
William Winter, are you here? I'm hearing something on the stairs.
Oh my gosh.
I can't see it, but I can feel it. There's something up here.
Well, how was it down in Cajun country?
Well, as you know, we went to St. Francisville, Louisiana to check out a bit of ghostly video that was recorded at the historic Myrtles Plantation.
So for our first experiment, we theorized that the camera could have come from an air-conditioned environment, like the inside of a car. And condensation could have formed on the lens when it went from inside the car to outside into the warm, humid Louisiana air. The problem is that the lens completely fogged up and we couldn't see through it at all, and it didn't look like the original video.
Obviously not a match. So for the next test, we wanted to see if a windy vortex could have drawn in fog in one specific area. Devin set up a circle of fans in a tight pattern, and then I pumped fog directly into it. Once it rose above the influence of the fans itself, it would just diffuse. Not a match.
So finally, we decided to test whether a random light source shining into the fog would actually create the manifestation seen in the original video. So we used an industrial fogger and a flashlight, but the results we got were just way too diffused. So then we decided to test whether the built-in light from the IR camera would actually illuminate the fog. Wow, it's pretty bright.
Pretty close.
It gave us a better result and more of a plausible explanation for what we see in the original. But given the 300-year history of paranormal activity there at Myrtles Plantation, we decided to do a night investigation. And that's when things really started to happen.
So we set up 3 IR cams and 1 full-spectrum cam throughout the various hotspots on the plantation.
As I was combing the property with my thermal camera and my digital camera, Bill saw this crazy thing on the wall. So I took out my digital camera, and this is what I captured.
Look at that.
Wow. Do you see that? I do. I see it. It looks like the face of a child, right?
So with all this going on, I went up to the doll room to conduct an EVP session.
Bill's conducting his EVP session, and I'm monitoring base camp. Suddenly, I hear a noise, and the accelerometer that's sitting all by itself on the 17th step starts to go off.
What?
So I radio Bill.
I stopped recording, and I run back to the foyer. I could hear the accelerometer going off, but when I got there, it had ceased.
Get out.
No, it stopped.
Well, did the EVP session turn up anything interesting?
Yes, it did. Why don't you play this clip?
Why don't you talk?
No way.
Are you having fun here?
Holy crap, that sounds like children laughing.
You have got to be kidding me.
No way.
There is no kidding here. This is a true EVP.
Oh, that is weird and creepy sounding, too.
It is creepy sounding.
Another really creepy thing, you guys, is that it sounds like there's multiple children laughing, and that correlates with the story of multiple children being poisoned.
Wow.
So what do you think, guys? The Cajun ghost, fact or faked?
Well, when you look at the original video, I think we came pretty close to replicating it, but we did come away with our own evidence which strongly suggests that there's paranormal activity that occurs at the Myrtles Plantation.
Agreed.
Nice job. It looks like you guys came pretty close to replicating the video. However, when you did your night investigation, it seems like things got better as the night went on. It was a home run.
What was that?
So Ben, how did it go at Area 51?
Oh, wow.
Well, you know, Nevada, we traveled out there to look at some very famous footage depicting some type of alien craft that was floating over the base. So here we are in the Nevada desert, just outside of Area 51, and you have no idea how excited I am to be here.
I can't believe we actually get to investigate one of the most famous pieces of UFO footage to ever even surface. UFO researchers are quick to point out some of the anomalies of the object. The erratic flight pattern, even the apparent ability for the object to change shape. And they say these are characteristics and proof that this object is of extraterrestrial origin.
Skeptics aren't so short. They point to the obvious military connection, while others claim that it's an outright hoax.
Now, the biggest obstacle facing our investigation is the secrecy and inaccessibility of Area 51 itself. And this is the closest that we can get without actually going into the installation.
Coming up on Fact or Faked Paranormal Files.
Don't look now, but you're being watched.
Whoa! Security's looking down at my team. Did you see that sky just now? So here we are in the Nevada desert, just outside of Area 51.
I can't believe we actually get to investigate one of the most famous pieces of UFO footage to ever even surface. I mean, the military's hiding something. The question is what?
So we've enlisted the help of Area 51 expert Glenn Campbell. He's waiting for us right here. And this is the closest that we can get without actually going into the installation. Glenn.
Ben.
Nice to finally meet you.
Glenn.
Jael, and this is Austin. How you doing? Pleasure.
Hey. Don't look now, but you're being watched.
Where?
Well, up there. There's two of them up there in an SUV. They're there 24/7. They're always on that hill. So whenever you come down here, they're there.
So what happens if we wander across this area?
Well, these signs, some of these signs say use of deadly force authorized. Wow.
Glenn, what is Area 51?
Area 51 is a block of land inside another vast military facility. Inside that block of land, there's an Air Force base, except this is a base without a name.
So why do so many people believe that there's an extraterrestrial link here to Area 51?
I think it's because we don't know what's going on there. You know, it could be anything. There are people who believe that the aliens from the Roswell crash were brought here. In other words, they have alien craft that they've dissected and learned how they work.
Now, Glenn, regarding the video that we're investigating, what do you believe was captured?
I believe the video is authentic. I believe that it came out of the base. Beyond that, I don't know what it is.
So what are our best options of getting close to the base then?
There's one place inside restricted airspace, Campfire Hill. Unfortunately, you can't see the base. To see the base itself, you need to go to Tickaboo Peak. It's the only place on public land where you can still see the base. And that's pretty rigorous. It's a pretty tough hike.
Well, thank you so much, Glenn. You've given us so much information, and we've got to get started on our experiment, and this is kind of making me uneasy, even with them looking over our shoulder. Take care, Glenn.
Thanks
We'll see
again.
you.
Due to the extreme security Area 51, we're going to head to a nearby testing facility that actually matches the same look as a secret base. We're going to run a few experiments to see if we can find out exactly what's going on behind this footage. My thought is that it's actually just a misidentified military blimp or even just a balloon that's being swayed around in the wind. Maybe it's a helikite.
That's a good point, Austin. The helikite is a combination of a helium balloon and a winged kite, and the military uses these to gauge wind speed and take aerial photography.
Think about the kite's natural ability to want to elevate with wind. I mean, you mix that with wind currents, wind pockets. I mean, all those variables really could give us that almost shape-shifting look that we're seeing in the original video.
Right. And since we don't know what type of camera was used when the original footage was taken, I'm going to use this CCTV setup, which looks pretty similar during playback.
So we're going to see if this infamous footage from Area 51 could be just a case of mistaken identity. It could have been a military helikite.
How's the pressure, Jael?
I think that's good.
All right, guys, so let's run this test.
Hey, guys, that's a great start. I'm going to give you a countdown, and then let's get this thing airborne.
Okay, we're ready to go.
And 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, pull it down and then run to the right. All right, let's get it to bounce.
Problem, Jael, when it bounces, it's just going straight back out. Just try and replicate those movements with the camera.
Copy that.
Copy that. Coming back.
Look at the original footage and how fast this UFO is moving.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at this, it's just not moving fast enough. As soon as I went handheld, just look at how it starts to have this erratic movement.
But I'm seeing a huge issue here. The more I look, I can see the tether line to our UFO.
This test got close, but we also have to take into account the fact that we're right outside of Area 51. This could have just been some kind of military craft that was flying low and had something suspended below it.
Yeah. A sling load.
Yes.
Military installations, it's very common for them to take a heavy load in a sling and deliver it to where they need it to go. Maybe that's the culprit of what they're seeing in the UFO footage.
So right now we're finishing setting up our sling load. We're trying to replicate something the military might actually be transporting, and we're trying to get the same effect that we see out of the object from the original footage.
Guys, here comes the chopper. We have to remember the most important thing. When we start filming this footage, I have to crop out the helicopter so that we can just get the object in the sky and hopefully recreate the look of the original footage.
I'll be in contact with Austin via radio so he can tell the pilot which way he needs to move. And then Jael will be right next to you framing that up.
All right, guys, our swing load is officially all set up, locked and loaded.
Excellent.
Be safe. All right, copy that, Battle. Be in the copter.
In 2010, a man claimed to be out bird watching in the Don Valley wetlands of Ontario when he saw what looked like a white horse in the distance. Upon a closer look, he noticed the horn on its head. The uploaded footage quickly went viral. But is this unicorn fact or faked? The answer coming up. In 2010, a man created a stir when he went public with purported footage of an actual unicorn. But is this mythical beast fact or faked? Faked. The creature's unnatural gait immediately had skeptics crying CGI. A fact later confirmed when the Ontario Science Centre admitted to creating the clip to promote their new mythical creatures exhibit. Take to the skies on our helicopter to see if the object in the original footage could just be a case of mistaken identity.
Okay, Austin, you ready?
Copy that, we're good.
Time to move it to the left, really steady.
Copy that, let me know when we're in place. We're starting the pendulum effect now.
Okay, now just gently sway, just like you're doing. Now go to the left, back to the right, center. There we go, perfect, perfect. Okay, I think we're good. You guys can bring it down. Woo! All right, guys.
Good.
What do you think? Is that the answer we're looking for? Well, come take a look. Sweet.
All right, here we go.
It's not bad.
Yeah, you can see how the payload is definitely defined. It's swinging, especially when we move the camera a little bit.
Although our payload, compared to the object in the original footage, is not the same shape.
At first I thought it looked really good, but the more I look, I notice when you guys zoom in, I can actually see the line. And then it looks when you zoom away, so the line disappears, but then you're seeing the helicopter.
I don't buy that anyone filming this would not see a helicopter attached to it.
And if it was a payload with a helicopter, at that point, we're back to a hoax, because somebody would have to get rid of the helicopter to get that effect.
So we have to take into consideration that there really might be something unexplainable going on over the skies in Area 51.
And so I think the next step is to live one of my dreams and do a skywatch. From when I was a little kid and was researching this, I've always wanted to do a night investigation, and I think this warrants it. But guys, I'm going to go solo.
Okay.
I'm going to go to Tickaboo Peak. You guys can go to Campfire Hill. You actually be closer to the base than I will be. The sun has already gone down, so it's getting dark. Let's pack this stuff up and get going. All right?
You have a trek ahead of you.
Yes, I do.
Jael and I are setting up our base camp on Campfire Hill, which is 15 miles away from Area 51. Now Ben, he's hiking to the top of Tickaboo Peak, which is actually 26 miles away from Area 51.
This is a 4-hour trek for me, and I'm going to do it solo.
Even though Ben is farther away, from his elevation, he should be able to see the base.
I'm heavily weighted down with a couple of tripods, a huge telephoto lens, and other equipment. So I might be a little over-prepared, but I don't know what the weather's going to be like up there.
Now, the downside is we're so far away from each other, we're going to be out of radio communication.
We're almost there.
Right now, Austin and I are getting ready for our Skywatch. We're going to set up 4 IR cameras which are going to be trained directly at Area 51, scanning the skies for any signs of UFOs.
Not many people have had the opportunity to be physically this close to Area 51, so I think I'm going to bring the thermal imager, scan the area for any anomalies, and see if I can find anything.
I'm going to be monitoring the cameras. If I see anything, I will let you know immediately. I really hope that Ben's doing okay over at Tickaboo Peak.
Me too. I hate not being able to have any type of communication with him. It scares me.
All right, let's go green.
Let's do this.
Wow, there it is. It's huge. It's a complete city down there. The airfield to Area 51 is about 26 miles away. So using this high-powered telephoto lens, I can just barely make out the outline of some of the buildings and structures there in the base. So that means anything they might see in the air, or that I might see from here, has been given government authority to fly there, or it might give credence to the UFO theory. I'm seeing a very dim light down here. It's sort of in the area where my team is. It just went out. It's like someone's driving around with their headlights off. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Where'd they go?
Hey, JL. I've been hiking for a while, and I just came across a very small dirt road. It must be one that the Area 51 security actually use. I mean, I can literally see tire tracks that are pretty fresh. I'm just wondering if Ben has a visual on security.
Security's looking down at my team.
Austin for JL, you copy?
Come in, buddy.
JL, we are officially being watched. Austin, they are coming straight for me right now. JL, we are officially being watched.
I can see the trucks in the distance right now with the thermal imager.
We've been out on Campfire Hill for a while now. Austin is down below the ridge. He has noticed that we have Area 51 security watching us right now.
Someone's approaching them.
JL, I have Area 51 security approaching me now.
What is that? Looks like we got some taxiway lights coming on. It looks like everything is lighting up for something either to take off or to come in.
I have what appears to be an SUV approaching. Did you see that in the sky just now?
What was that?
All the lights are... They just shut off.
What's going on?
See a light in the sky, but it appeared.
Shot through the sky way too fast to be anything human and then just disappeared.
I didn't see a craft land.
We were actually under restricted airspace. From the moment I walked away from Jael, I felt like we were being watched. And then I looked down on the thermal imager, and Area 51 security was actually monitoring our every move.
And I could see the whole scene from up at the peak.
I was really scared. I had lost sight of Austin. I was not in radio communication with Ben, so I was there by myself, and all I knew was that Area 51 security was right there, and I had no idea what they were going to do.
Our welcome was definitely up.
All of a sudden, the runway lights, everything lit up, like they were waiting for something to land.
Just when that happened, I looked up into the sky and saw this.
What is that?
Now, we didn't know what that was.
It could have been a shooting star, but it is a little suspicious that it flew through the sky at exactly the same time that those lights went on and off.
I don't believe it's a shooting star. They don't look like that. Whatever that was inside Earth's atmosphere.
It's very large and had a very long trail.
The fact that this base is active, and they turned on all the lights, and suddenly you see a light in the sky that resembles a craft, and you hear nothing and see nothing?
It seems that the government is up to something in Area 51. What it is, still don't know.
So, Area 51 UFO, fact or faked? What do you guys think?
I think we all agreed that we were not able to replicate the video.
What we do know is that there's definitely some strange activity going on there that the military does not want us knowing about.
Good job.
Good work, you guys.
Yeah, nice work.
All right.